Updating your kitchen countertops is one of the best ways to update your kitchen and give it a whole new look, and it doesn't have to be difficult. In fact, in this video, we're going to show you exactly how easy it is using the Fusion Surface countertop system. Now, we have over 100 different pre-made kits on our website that you can order, and today we're going to show you how to install the system using the Ayers Rock combination. Now, we've already done the prep work, which was easy, and we've already primed the surface. In fact, we'll put up a video here that's a complete tutorial showing you everything from the very beginning with the prep all the way through to the end. We've already gone ahead and done the prep work, and we've already got the surface primed. Now it's time for us to mix up the Fusion pigment, and it's real simple to do. We're going to do it in these 16-ounce cups. We're using 3 different colors for this Ayers Rock combination, which is white, orange, and black. And we very simply just add them to the cups, and we're going to do it in layers. And it's just a matter of adding just a little bit each time we pour. We're going to continue this process until we have the cups full. Now, there's nothing to mix in these Fusion pigments. They come with everything in them that's required to interact with the epoxy resins that we're going to use so that they cure and harden. There's no particular order that we have to do this in. We're just looking for about the same amount each time we pour. And we just simply continue to alternate. Now you'll notice that I finished a round and got through all 9 cups and finished the white. I just did the same thing with the orange, so that tells me that I'm putting in about the same amount of pigment each time I pour. So let's see what happens with the black. And so same thing. And you can see what's happening in the cups here. You can see all the different separation of the colors. It's creating these cells here, and a lot of that look is actually going to transfer out onto the surface once we pour it. So you can kind of get an idea already of the direction that this countertop is going to go. And so we got 3 more bottles here that we'll finish up with. And that should bring us right to the top of these cups. So the bottles of the Fusion pigment are 16 ounces. We're choosing to use 16-ounce cups, so that's allowing us to get our full 9 cups. Finish off with just a little bit more black that's left. All right, so that's all there is to mixing up the Fusion pigment. We're going to let these settle for maybe about 10 minutes or so. And while they're settling, we're going to move on to the next step, which is installing the Fusion Flow resin. And the Fusion Flow resin is basically what's going to be the carrier for these Fusion pigments, and we're going to mix it with some metallic pigment in order to create a base color for us. So I'm going to go ahead and set these off to the side here. These Fusion pigments, they can sit in these cups for really up to about 45 minutes or so before they settle out too much. So we want to use them generally within about 30 minutes, and we'll easily do that because this next process is actually pretty quick. Let me get this out of the way. All right, so here's our Fusion Flow resin. It's a 2-to-1 mix. So we're going to add 2 parts of A and 1 part of B into our container. Now, for a countertop this size, which is about 25, 26 square feet, we're going to use about 48 ounces of the mixed material. So in order to get us there, we're going to add 32 ounces of A. Which is right there. And then we're going to add 16 ounces of the B hardener. Which brings us right to there. Now, like I said, we're going to add metallic pigment to it, and in this case, for the Ayers Rock combination, it's a pearl white base. So we'll go ahead and add about half of the jar to that. That's all we need right there. And then we're going to go ahead and we're going to get this mixed up with our drill and mixing paddle for about 2 minutes. All right, and that's about all we need as far as mixing goes. Now, this is an epoxy, meaning that it's heat sensitive. So we're going to store our material for a day or so in temperatures of about 72 degrees or a little bit less. That's also the ideal application temperature as well. We also want to make sure that we don't leave it sitting in the bucket after it's been mixed for any period of time. We want to get it out of the bucket onto our surface as quickly as we can. So we're going to go ahead and do that now. And application of it is real easy. We're just going to pour it out onto the surface like this, and then we're just going to use our hands to spread it, and it's going to give us just a thin layer over top of the whole surface. It's exactly what we're looking for. Remember, this is just really going to bond everything to the surface, but it's also going to be the carrier for the fusion pigments that we just mixed up. So you can see that application is very quick. All right, so now we have the top done. We want to make sure that we get some on our edges as well, since we're going to be finishing the edges with the fusion pigment. And again, it's just a matter of letting a little bit just drip over the edge. We take our hand and we just rub it in. Again, this system was designed to give a very authentic look to the countertop, but also designed to be very easy to install. All right, and so that's all there is to installing the Fusion Flow resin. Now, all of the marks from my hands and everything, those are all going to go away. This is a self-leveling product, and plus we're going to be covering 99% of this with the Fusion pigment anyway. So this is exactly what it should look like at this stage. So now we're going to move on to installing the fusion pigments that we mixed up. And we have a couple different options for installing the fusion pigment. We could pour it out of the cup, which we call a vessel pour. We could use our blade technique, where we pour it onto the blade and then spread it across the surface. You could do a combination of a number of things, which is what we're going to do today. Actually, we're going to do a combination of the vessel pour and the blade technique. So I think what we're going to do first here is do our edges, which is very, very simple. It's a matter of taking one of the cups of our fusion pigment and just basically pouring it right along the edge here. So we're keeping it back maybe ½ inch, 1 inch away from the edge. All right, now if we look back over here where we've already started, you'll see what's happening here. It's coming right over the edge. So that's exactly what we're looking for. Now I have about 1/3 of a cup left, so I'm going to go ahead and do another lap around. All right, so there we go. That's a good start to our edges. We're going to let those kind of work, and we'll eventually add a second cup to our edges, but I'm looking back over here where I started, and you can see we've actually got full coverage on our edges. However, some of this is going to drip off, so we're going to add some more in a little bit. But now what we want to do is start working on the field. And like I said, we're going to do a combination here of a blade pour technique, but also the vessel pour. So I'm going to create a design here that we're going to use, and then we're going to kind of use that as our template or our pattern that we'll follow. So I'm just simply going to create a pattern here, like a vein, just like that. And then I think what I'm going to do here is I'm going to have it split off. So maybe something like this. Have it come off the edge. And then, I don't know, maybe let's get one coming off this side as well. Something like that. All right, so now we're going to kind of fill in these other areas using the blade pour technique. And then the idea here is that hopefully all of them are going to kind of blend together seamlessly to give us a real natural look of a slab of stone with a couple of larger veins running throughout. So I'm going to grab my, this is just a drywall finishing knife. This is a 10-inch knife. You can use any size you want. I like this size. It's just real easy to control. And so now this is simply just a matter of pouring a bead of it onto the blade and then letting it drip off. And again, I'm following my pattern that I've created here. And I'm going to try to keep it within these open areas. And as I come to the edge, I let it just drip right off, because what I'm wanting here is as the main surface and the edges, I want them to develop together. So here's where I poured off, and then you see where I came right off the edge. So now this part here is going to look very natural. Now, we're getting different sizes of the, I guess, puddles, if you will. That's okay. That's exactly what we're looking for. Again, it's going to lend to the real natural look. So we have like a large puddle area here, and then we're going to have all kinds of real thin veins running throughout. So when we get done, you're going to see how all of that's going to blend seamlessly and naturally. And it's amazing how this flows over the surface. I mean, if we look back at these veins that we poured out of the cup, they were only about an inch or so wide, and now look at how they have moved. All right, so that's a cup. on this side here. We're just going to keep going. I think I'm going to come and work down on this side now. And again, we're just filling in the voids here. Now, there's a few different techniques as well that we can do with the drywall knife. So if I pour a bead of it here, like this, and I let my blade just drop flat like that, you can see how I get a larger puddle to fall here. What I can do though is I can turn my knife on a bit of an angle like this, and then I get thinner veins of it to run off. So you can do a combination of techniques by just turning the knife as we're pouring. All right, so remember, as the clock ticks, all of this pigment starts to flow and move. So I'm going to leave this now. I'm going to come down to this end. I'll come back over here in a few minutes and see if I need to add any. So now we do the same thing. All right, same thing there. I'm going to leave that, and then let's go start working on this larger section over here. And again, every time we go right off the edge. So I've used 5 cups already. We've got one round of our edges done. We were able to do our veins up the middle, and then we've gone around and we've poured some everywhere. So now it's time to just continue to fill in the surface. Look for areas where we want more. Now, we could stop right here. And what we'd have is more of the pearl metallic pigment showing through. In this case though, I want to fill more. I want less of the pearl to show, so I'm going to continue to use up the pigments. I think what I'm going to do is do one more cup over the top here, then I'm going to do another round on the edges. All right, so the edges are looking really good, but I think I'm going to add another cup to them. So it's just the same process that we did the first time. go. You know what? I'm going to add maybe a little bit to our vein here as well. So I'm just following that same shape that we made earlier. All right, nice. All right, 2 cups to go. I think I'm going to continue to add here. So I have 1 cup of the Fusion pigment left, but I like where this is at right now. So I'm going to leave it. I'm not going to add that last cup. I'm really liking how we're getting areas like this where we're still getting some real nice defined small little almost like circles of the metallic pigment coming through, and you can see the super fine veins around it like that. I like that, so I want that to stay. I actually also like how some of these veins that we poured out of the cup, how they've got metallic on both sides. So I'm going to leave it here. Now this is still going to continue to develop and move, and the pigments are still going to continue to blend over the next hour, hour and a half. So we're going to leave it as is, and we'll come back tomorrow and we'll see what we have, and then we'll put our top coat on. All right, so we're back here now at our Ayers Rock countertop, and this one looks totally amazing. I have not done an Ayers Rock or seen an Ayers Rock in a little while, and I forgot just how beautiful this combination is. And since we added the veining with the vessel pour here, it's really added to the whole overall look of the countertop. These are great colors. They work really well together, and we got some beautiful detail going on here, and really how that pearl metallic pigment underneath just really complements the whole look. And we got some veining, but we also got these shapes almost like cells throughout the surface, and that's really helping to enhance the whole look. Now, you remember when we did this countertop, we had mixed up originally, I believe, 9 cups of the Fusion pigment, and we had 1 cup left over. So rather than waste it, we decided that we were going to just play around and do a little experiment and just see what we could create on a piece of canvas. So what we did is we took that last cup and we poured it on a small canvas, and you can see that we were able to create a piece of art. So just as a little side note, you can also use this material to create pieces of art as well. But now we want to go ahead and protect this surface, and the way we do that is with our epoxy countertop kit. So we're going to go ahead and mix that up now. We recommend using about 3 to 4 ounces per square foot. So when we do the math, it's telling us we need about 96 ounces for this countertop. So we're going to go ahead and get that mixed up now. This countertop epoxy is a 2-to-1 mix. So we're going to mix it up in this little bucket here. So we're going to pour in our 64 ounces of the A part. We'll just pour this till we get our 64 ounces of the part A. And now we're going to add the B side, which is our hardener. And we're going to get 32 ounces of this to bring us up to our total volume right there of 96 ounces. Then we take our drill and our paddle and we mix it for about 2 minutes. All right, so that is all we need in order to get our countertop epoxy thoroughly mixed. We'll set our drill off to the side. And now it comes time to apply it to the surface. All we're gonna do, very simple, is we're actually gonna dump it down the center. Just like that. We're gonna hold the bucket upside down just for a few seconds here, let as much drip out as we can. We're not gonna set it on the surface and let it drain 100% because we might end up with some unmixed resin that's at the bottom of the container. So that's all we do. And then we simply now just take our hands and move it over the surface. So we're gonna bring some to the edge. We're not going to focus on our edges right at the moment. This is an ultra clear epoxy, self-leveling, high heat resistant. And we're simply using our hands just to help it. But it will actually level on its own. Some down on this side here. Very, very simple product to apply here. Okay, so we have the top done. What we want to do now is make sure we get some on our edges to protect them as well. You see it's already dripping off the side, so we're simply just going to take our hands and smooth it out. We're going to have enough there that's going to lock everything in, seal, and protect. And we'll simply just move right around the surface here. And again, because this is self-leveling, this is actually going to continue to come over the edge over the next 45 minutes or so. But we're just going to use our hands for right now just to ensure that we have some of the resin covering the entire edge. There. Because this is a high gloss, it can sometimes be difficult to see voids where we missed. So we want to make sure that we're looking at the countertop on all different angles. I like to actually kind of get down more at countertop level, and I'm seeing a spot right out here in the middle that I missed, right here. So I'm just simply going to push some of the epoxy to it, and that will just level out. I'm going to come around this side here, and yeah, this is looking really good here. Make sure that we got this area filled. Okay. All right, I think it's covered. Okay, so this countertop epoxy will dry overnight. We'll come back tomorrow and we're going to show you the finished result of this Ayers rock. All right, so we're back here at our Ayers rock countertop, and you can see the final result is absolutely beautiful. This was created using polar white metallic as our base. We took white, black, and our orange fusion pigment, and we combined them on the surface, and look at what we got. We did two different techniques on this as well. We did our vessel pour, which created these beautiful veins that are running throughout the surface. And then we used our blade pour technique to fill in the rest of it, and you can see it created a lot of finer veins. We got a lot of cells happening, and just overall, when all blended together and combined, this has really given us a really natural stone appearance. It's really a stone looking countertop, and this was so easy to do. You remember we started with the prep and priming of the surface. Then we mixed up our fusion pigments in the cups, and then we poured them out onto the surface. We came back and we put our ultra clear countertop epoxy on the top of it, and again, the results are absolutely outstanding. This is a project that anyone can do, and time after time we can produce these same results using this Ayers Rock Fusion countertop kit. So we have this kit available on our website at www.epoxyplus.com, but we have over 100 different combinations available as well. So have a look, select the one that you like, order it, and you'll be able to create something just as beautiful as this. If you have any questions, feel free to contact us, or if you'd like to see a certain combination done on one of our videos, leave it in the comments below, and we'd be more than happy to create a surface so that you can see the entire process. Thanks for watching.